Hello traders and welcome to the weekly outlook and setups volume 125. It's Iliya here, and as always I'm super grateful to have you on this channel. As you probably know, in this video we are going to have a look at the market, how it developed this week, what opportunities did we have, and what we can potentially expect for the upcoming week. This was an insane week, so we had plenty of amazing opportunities this week. DXY pumped, Euro USD dumped, and all the major pairs really moved amazingly. So I really hope for all of you guys that you managed to capitalize on those early moves, because we pretty much had amazing moves on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and then basically Thursday and Friday we had some consolidations, some kind of distributions after these huge massive moves, right? So this week I am still break even, and it's been like this for 2 weeks, and I'm starting to get a little bit emotional, but of course I really accept this because I have some really important stuff and projects to work on. And actually this week I got rid of one of them, so I was pretty happy. I was actually celebrating a little achievement that I had on my own. So definitely from next week I'm gonna be more zoned in and definitely catching all of those opportunities. But as a testimonial, everyone from my team managed to catch those trades because they were all mentioned in my morning analysis every single morning in the community. And of course in this video I'm gonna show you actually my other charts were actually trade. I'm not gonna really go into breakdown because I took I'm not really sure. I think I took around 4 break-even trades. They were basically from early London session, and then basically after London Open, and then for New York I wasn't trading, which is pretty unfortunate, but I'm gonna show you what we have this week. All right, if you're new to this channel, it is all about trading. I share these weekly outlook and setups every Saturday, and once per week I share an educational piece of content or a trade setups breakdown video. So make sure you're subscribed, hit the notification bell in order not to miss the future updates. And before we start, I want to tell you that I also trade crypto, and I do it with Forex.com. It is an amazing broker with amazing spreads, but I picked their eco account. So for every single lot that you trade, the commission goes towards planting 10 trees. And I really think that is an amazing initiative that has never been shown before. So make sure to check them out. Link will be down in the description. And if you already did, let's head straight for the analysis. All right, as always, starting with the DXY, let's have a look what happened this week. Well, pretty much if you remember from the last outlook, make sure you're following them. And actually if you draw like a storyline, because I've been doing those for quite some time, and it's really amazing to see how the long-term perspective always plays off. But when you start to mess up with the lower time frames, it gets tricky because you then try to get short, you try to get long instead of really following the higher time frame momentum, right? But of course this week the question was, okay, we have all of those rejections. We had this kind of rejection as well that took out this high, and we were thinking, all right, we're either gonna have a deeper pullback into those levels, or we're just gonna explode, because also the daily was looking pretty bullish, which we're gonna have a look right now. And of course, what we had a couple of news. I think we had CPI, we had something else, and the market is closing as a very nice bullish engulfing. Okay, so where are we currently traveling to? The first area that I want to see tapped is this one. Let's maybe do it like this, 4-hourly low. Well, it's not a 4-hourly low, but just a normal line. And of course then we have this whole zone right there, which I'm gonna do like this. So pretty much this is where I do believe the DXY is going, potentially around 96, or maybe we can even go towards 97, because this is the last pullback that caused a massive break of structure that originates from right there. Okay, and currently the market is in that complex pullback. So as we tap right here, then potentially we can expect a bigger move to the downside. But of course we can do this, we can tap inside, oops, not this one, we can tap inside, we can pull back, and then we can continue to trade into the highs. But this of course depends on everything that is also happening fundamentally. Remember in my previous weekly outlook I shared some insights regarding the dollar, the tapering, the inflation. So definitely longer term the dollar looks like it's gonna appreciate more in value, right? Daily time frame, let's see what happened. So pretty much we opened right here on the 8th of November. We had this push into the highs, then we were having this pullback. And what I told you guys is that this is currently our higher low formation, and I also had it as a 4-hourly zone. So pretty much we had 1 day of pullback, 2 days of pullback, and then on the 3rd day we just exploded into the highs. Okay, so it's pretty simple. And when I dropped to the 4H, you can see that if you remember, I told you this is the last resort for the market. So we pull back right there. This is my range. So we pulled back very deeply, actually, to be honest. And we started consolidating right there. So what I told you actually on Tuesday was, guys, let's see how the market is going to respond from right here. Let's see if we're going to have any 15-minute structure breaks, which we had. So if you zoom in right here, just to show you, we have this lower low, we have this kind of lower high, then the market creates the MSS formation, higher high, a little bit of liquidity grab right there, but then another higher high. You can see how we started creating higher highs, higher highs, higher highs, pull back, higher low formation, and since then we exploded. So as you can see, it was pretty clear how we were starting to cook for longs. And then pretty much we just, we just exploded. We took out this high, and I did not expect really to continue carrying to the upside like this. And right, currently, what are my expectations? Well, pretty much we have a brand new range. So it started from here, and possibly it's gonna end right there. Our new kind of really hard time frame demand is this daily one, because this is pretty much the daily candle. You can see how we embrace the full hourly zone, which is exactly this daily candle of demand. And yes, so currently we're having this massive push. As I said, what we usually expect is a pullback. Where to? Oh well, towards the 50%. Are we gonna pull back that deep? I don't know. Okay, we know where we potentially expect the market to get into. I really don't want to go on the left like this, because this is price action from 2020. Okay, yes, we can look on the weekly time frame right now for potential big areas, but if you start dropping lines like this, lines like that, and this, you're just gonna end up with a lot of zones, guys. This is just a little tip from me, and none of those are gonna get respected. So what I want you to do is focus on the now, right? We have a push, higher high, currently expecting a pullback. How do you know when the pullback is initiated? When you start seeing a potential change of structure in the 15-minute, which we do not really have very clearly. So what we can also have is possibly a nice liquidity grab above this highs. And then if the market starts doing something like this, I'm gonna start going short and then potentially targeting the 50% of this leg. Okay, so as I always say, guys, let's see how Monday is gonna play. The DXY is absolutely bullish, but then the question is, are we just gonna kind of create a demand right there and continue pushing up, or are we gonna have a little bit of a deeper pullback so we can take some shorts? And I'm gonna update you on that on Tuesday in my Telegram channel. Link is in the description. Really nice to see this continuation on EU as well. Look at that beautiful bearish engulfing candle right here. And pretty much the first targets were already met. My first target was this little wick right there that hasn't been retested, and we were just tapping inside it. So this target is fulfilled. And then, as I have been mentioning for some time, this is the area 1.14 all the way down to 1.12. where we could potentially see the market slow down or maybe give us a bigger pullback, because this is the demand that actually broke structure to the upside. So this is very strong level, and we potentially have a couple of more pips. Well, yeah, we have quite some more pips to travel to the downside. So again, let's see if we're gonna straight head towards it, or are we first gonna have a little bit of a pullback. Personally, I would really love to see a retest of this little wick right there, which is something potentially on the daily. So let's basically go to the daily, see what is happening. Pretty much we had this push to the downside from last week. We had a pullback, and as I told you, again, very similarly to the DXY, we had this lower high, and I told you, as long as euro remains below this lower high, we keep shorting. We got a nice tap inside this level, and then we just plummeted to the downside. Okay, so perfectly, our range is starting from here. It will potentially end somewhere right there. Again, the question is, are we gonna have a slightly bit of a bigger pullback to the downside and then start shifting, as I told you on the DXY, or are we immediately gonna initiate the pullback on Monday? So this is what we have to see on Monday, and we do not really have to rush. Personally, my level right now is this one, which is where I will be taking shorts from. But again, I don't expect for it to get tapped. For me, 50% is enough. Okay. So as you can see, this week, pretty much, if you remember, I took my level from the 2-hourly time frame. I took it like this, a little bit bigger, and the market was coming inside right there and starting to create this kind of consolidation. And we had quite some opportunities right there. I'm going to show you on other charts, and then we just plummeted to the downside. And it was pretty easy, to be honest. We did not break above this one. This is your swing high, swing low. We pull back, we failed to break. You just take a short with a hard time frame. First target was this low just got smashed, and then we just carried on to the downside. Very nice, very nice. And also on Monday we had some beautiful long opportunities towards the upside, which was also very nice to see. Currently, again, we are consolidating at the bottom. On the hourly, we still haven't really formed the lower low. We're just still consolidating. And again, as I always say, how do we know if the lower low is formed? Well, we have to wait for the 50-minute to reverse. And this is what I told my team. They really tried hard to go long on Friday, so we had some losses right there. I had 2 break-evens on Friday, and then I cut it out for the week after I saw really the failure to break above. But yes, pretty much we did not really have any clear momentum break, nothing. We just ranged. I was looking actually to trade it from right here. After this momentum break, I took it long from right there. Tries to push, failed, stopped me out of break even, then tries to push again. It fails to break. And since then, I knew that this market is not going to pump up today. So yeah, pretty much what we have to do is to wait to see if we're going to have a manipulation down first, or are we going to create a higher low and then break a structure. So for me, I really want to see this wick broken. It's a big wick, but if we have a break above this one, then again, guys, you know the drill. We wait for a pullback, higher low formation, and then we start going long. Okay, so pretty much my analysis is very simple. Range high, range low. We wait for a pullback towards the 50%. As we get right there, we go short. Okay. If we first stop inside the lows, or if we just start plummeting to the downside, then it's going to be a completely different story, and then we have to adapt, right? But this is what we work with right now. And guys, if you want to take reversal trades, again, wait for a clear shift. Okay, so if you wanted to take a long trade from here, you fail. Why? Because this is your lower high. This is your lower low. The market never breaks. We continue to go down. If you want to take a long from here, where is your lower high? Well, it was right here, this one. So we pretty much broken, and this is why I took a long from right there. But after I saw the failure to break above this high, which was pretty much my target and a little bit above, we went down. Then we're getting a short market. Okay, and then we also made a lower low. So be careful, wait for a clear shift, and only then strike. And let's see potentially what we're gonna have on Tuesday. And just to show you also how we host our webinars every single Thursday, we go into great detail right there of all the trades, and pretty much I took some sort of break even somewhere right there. I took a lot of break evens, but you can see those are all the trades that could have been taken this week. We have 8R right there, 7.7, 4.7, 7.5, and 6.8, and the majority of those trades were taken by the community. But for me, New York session, I was missing those. I think I took one trade right there, and I'm not really gonna go into entries this time. I should have created a video on it, but I didn't. On Tuesday, this was a trade that I had. So pretty much I had my limit right there. Stop loss was 3 pips above the structure, but it got me missed. This one, those ones developed a little bit too early. So 730, it's a miss. As you can see, we have noted right there. Then I did not take this long, and then I took this short right here, 2.5 pip stop loss, and target was to the downside, to the low for 6.6. And what I did right here is I set on my magic keys an auto break even. So after it breaks the structure, I went break even. It stopped me out of break even, and then I did not re-enter from the potential area that was retested because I was out of home. And then the market just ended up flushing to the downside. So this one was a pretty emotional day for me as well. And then we had a little long as well that we could have taken from right here, which after the market tapped into an unretested area for Monday. So all of that is explained. Then charts were shared as well. So you develop also, we call it the trading magazine. We have a lot of tools in our community. And then the next trade that I took, again, you can see I was only trading this week around 9, and I was stopping trading around 11. And this is a trade that I took, pushed to the downside, we pull back into 50%. I took my trade right there. I'm not really going to go to the 1 minute because I took it from there. Stop loss was 3.3, and of course the target was to create a new lower low. But then after I saw the market reverse, I went break even, and I actually hit a little bit of a reduced stop loss right there. Right now I remember, because I was still thinking that the market is going to pull back, create a lower high, and then flush, but that wasn't the case. Then we pulled back, and this is where my community took shorts. So I'm not gonna again drop to the 1 minute, but the short was taken from somewhere right there. Stop loss was above, and they literally killed it. We had FTMOs passed with this trade, so that was absolutely insane. And then later in New York, we had a little liquidity grab into the highs. And then of course we have our setup right there for another short, but I wasn't on the charts. Thursday, I did not take any trades in this choppy price action. And on Friday, those are my 2 trades right here. One of them was taken aggressive with a 3.4 pip stop loss. The other one was taken as a confirmation entry as well. And I was looking to take them both. There was a level on the left. Yes, my target were pretty much this little guy right here. I think around 5R or something. And yeah, I was looking to take partials as we broke the high. But yeah, we just consolidated. We started flushing and I went out at break even. So I had 1 reduced stop loss, 2 break evens on early week, and then 2 break evens right there. So it's pretty emotional because we had all of those beautiful moves this week, but I wasn't at the charts to catch. And this is when you also do not really play the probability game, because if you do not execute on every setup that aligns with your strategy, you kind of step a little bit away from it. But of course, sometimes circumstances do not allow you. All right. So pretty much again, guys, I showed you we do this every single week with the community. I answer questions, I show you textbook setups, and pretty much what we teach, we also preach later. We show you how to do it. So make sure that you also consider joining the Fanatic team. All right. So this is EU. Let's head on to EJ. You're going to spot that the JPY pairs did not really have that big bearishness. So for example, Euro USD dumped while Euro JPY did not do that too much. AU also dumped, but AJ did not do it, and the same with NZD JPY. And this again is mainly because of UJ, which we're going to have a look a little bit later. So what do we still have on EJ? Well, it's going to be pretty much the same analysis. On the weekly, we have this very nice pump into the highs, 2 candles. Right now we're 4 candles in the pullback, which pretty much means that the momentum is to the upside. We are already below 50%, which is beautiful. And the level that we want to take a long from is this one. And this is the weekly level. Dropping onto the daily, well, pretty much the daily is also right here. We can take this daily level as a little refinement. And yes, you can see pretty much since the 8th, we chop right there, little push down, pull back, little push down, little push down. It's not that strong to the downside, while EU just plummeted, right? And as you can see, it has been pretty, I would say, so I do not like this price action because it's pretty much compressed. For me, usually when you have this, you're gonna have some sort of a breakout, right? But still, the only bad thing right there was that if you were running some shorts, maybe you had a short from right there, then you took a short from right there, and maybe you took a short from right there. This little liquidity grab potentially stopped everybody at break even, or maybe some stop losses, and then we continued to roll to the downside. But pretty much on EJ, I am still looking for the market to tap inside this area, which also resonates with EU because EU is also traveling towards a very strong demand. And if both of them tap into those areas, then we can potentially expect some sort of pullback. But currently, EJ, I do not love this sort of price action. It's not clear swings, it's not clear structure, it's not momentous as well. You can see the candles to the upside are the same as the candles to the downside. So there is no real momentum behind those moves. But pretty much, this is my lower high right now that I can spot. Oops, not this one. What did I do? It should be higher time frame supply. And yeah, why? Because it broke structure. And pretty much if we have a pullback towards that level, lower high formation, I'm going to be looking for shorts. Okay, very simple analysis, but this is all I can work with. This is the last lower high. I don't want to be looking for those ones right here, because if you pull back into those ones, then we're going to have potentially a shift of structure. And then we have to wait for another shift to potentially take it lower. Okay, and it becomes a little bit too complex. So let's keep it simple. This is the level. If this level breaks, then of course we have to reevaluate and see how the market is actually behaving. But yes, pretty much if this level gets disrespected, this is the last resort, because this is where we manipulated and flushed, and this level hasn't been retested. So potentially also if you pull back towards that level, then we have to wait for a new shift, potentially on a lower time frame. Okay, so this is EJ. I am still bearish, looking for the market to tap into some sort of demand before starting to consider any longs. The Aussies, so AUD has been a little bit tricky because we can see that this price action is bullish. Again, we can break it down once again. Weekly demand got respected, we broke structure, we pull back, higher low, higher high, beautiful. Currently we're in a pullback for a potential higher low. So we can potentially continue to the upside, but there is a little problem. The DXY is really bullish. right? And this brings weakness onto this pair, although the Aussie looks like it's also strong because it's not flushing like EU or GU, it's more kind of inclining towards the upside, right? So I am still pretty much long-term bullish on the Aussies, but I do think that it's really hindered by the bullishness of the DXY. And until we see some sort of weakness on the DXY, this is not really gonna explode to the upside. But pretty much two areas to look at right now. The weekly area and then this little daily pin bar right there, because what this pin bar signifies, if you don't understand candlesticks, just understand what is behind them. So this candle opened, faked to the downside, took some liquidity right there, and then closed more as a wick rather than body, which means a lot of buyers entered from this level, and then we just very simply reverse to the highs. Okay, so just knowing this, it means that from here a lot of buyers entered, and as you can see, when we tap, we immediately get a reaction from there. Let's drop to the 4H, because pretty much if we are trading from a weekly or daily area, we have to definitely wait for a full hourly change as well. And as you can see, the full hourly has been extremely bearish, so I really hope some of you are capitalizing on shorts on AU. And it is a little bit tricky because we have a little bit of a pullback right here. So this could have been a lower high, this could be a lower low, and this could be the break of this structure right here. And pretty much what we can say right now is, okay, cool, what broke the structure? Oh, well, yeah, pretty much, oh man, this is not a very clear area because I don't want to take this wick and I don't want to take this one. So I'm going to take a big area like this. And it becomes too much, so I'm going to delete this one, not to become too blue. Yeah, there we go. So pretty much a couple of scenarios on this one, guys. Right, we have a little bit of a full hourly shift, but still we have this big wick. So again, look at up psychology. What happened right there is the market kind of chopped around, it pushed into the lows, manipulated the lows, then it opened right here. It manipulated into the highs and closed as a massive bearish engulfing candle. So this on the lower time frame is going to look like this, a big buy and then a big sell. And what does that mean is that we are having something happening. There is your big buy and there is your big sell. Okay, so as the market gets inside this area, I am going to start looking for sells. Okay, but pretty much I can say that also the hourly has reversed. So this whole area looks pretty good for longs. So let's try to drop our range to see if we have a potential problem. Well, yeah, we do have a little problem because if the market pulls back towards the 50%, we can consider this to be a pullback. So we can, of course, flush to the downside. So it is a slightly tricky situation. As you can see, the market is always tricky. It's never like set in stone. So you have to be really flexible. And if we believe that the market is going to pull back towards this area, then potentially how I'm going to approach it is, if right now on Monday we pull back towards this area, I'm going to start looking for longs towards this level. Okay. If we start with a bullishness towards this area, I'm then start gonna look for shorts. Okay, I give you like all of those ideas, and again, I do not know what's gonna happen in the market, so I'm not one of those guys that say, oh man, okay, we short from here, it's gonna go down. And if you spot such language, maybe if you have this kind of language in your own trading, this should go down, this must go down, this level should get respected, must have to, you have a problem. So make sure to examine this. So pretty much this is how I am breaking down AU. I'm both long and both short, but pretty much I am still more on the short side, but I'm really aware that we are tapping inside a very strong demand. But until the DXY continues with that rampage to the upside, then this one is not gonna create a nice push up. Okay, so let's go with the flow. Two areas to work on. If we first pull back down, we go long. If we first pull back up, then we go short. And again with AJ, the situation is slightly choppy right here. So still, we have this weekly range, big push into the highs. We still haven't pulled back a lot. So this one still has some downside, unlike AU. So AU already pulled back. A potential area for this one, well, yeah, this is the last bearish candle, and usually this is how we spot the demand areas. But yeah, I do something more than that, but I don't see it right here. So pretty much, yeah, we do not have a lot to work with on this pair. We know that it's about to pull back. There is an unretested area right here that we can potentially travel towards, which is also 82. Dropping onto the 4H, this pair is pretty much bearish still. So we had a lower high right there, little push, little pullback, push, very nice push. So this actually created this supply. but we wicked above the supply. Then we pull back, and then it looks like we respect the demand, but it's not ready. Okay, so this one, guys, what is it doing right now? It's just consolidating. If you look at it, we're just creating a range right now at the bottom. And are we somewhere? Well, not really. Okay, so tricky pairs. If you're not short from here, short from here, short from here, then currently it is a little bit tricky. Okay, because yeah, my major lower high is this candle, because this is the candle that broke the lower high. We faked above it. Is this a break or a fake? Well, according to me, it's a fake, because we did not break above it. We just faked, and then we just sharply reversed to the downside. So this potentially right now creates another kind of that big buy before a big sell-off. But as you can see, this big buy did not also break structure to the downside. So what are we doing right now is we are ranging. So what I want to do on AJ is, of course, wait for something more, because what we could do is we can pull back into this area and flush, or we can potentially give a little bit of a pullback down first and then push higher. And then if we break this zone right there, then potentially I can consider longs to the upside. Okay, and then to potentially start targeting some of those big levels that haven't been retested. So this is AJ. It's not entirely clear. I still expect further downside. It's starting to look a slightly bit bullish, but it's not. We do not have a break. So if you really want to go long on this one, then definitely wait for a hard time frame structure shift, which we have on the hour. The hour broke right there. We can have, again, as I told you, that pullback similar to AU. Then you can have a continuation. But if you have this, then watch out for this level, which is pretty much the same as AU. There we go. They're pretty much the same right now, stuck in the range. So let's see if the sellers or the buyers will prevail. And we're going to know that probably around Monday or Tuesday. So make sure to stay focused and stay tuned for my Tuesday analysis. Let's have a quick look at the NZDs, which are pretty much the same as the Aussies. As always, we have that same price action right there. We had a push up. We're currently having a pullback down. Our range is this. And we have this sort of level as demand, which is currently the market is traveling towards it. And yes, on this one, we had a nice flush. Again, 8th of November, we pulled back, we created a lower high. Again, probably I told you last week that this was the lower high formation. And as long as we stay below, we're short. And there is your short dropping below 50% and potentially traveling towards this area right here. So right now, again, what we have is a new range. But which is more like a daily range in a weekly bullish move. Okay, so this is where minor structure comes in, and I plan to do a video on that because it's simple than you think, but too many of you are complicating this one. So this one was pretty much like EU. We had a push, we had a very deep pullback, we consolidated, then we massively dumped to the downside, and right now we can expect a little bit of a pullback, because still I do expect the market to pull back a little bit deeper to at least tap inside this area, because what are we reacting from right here? Nothing. So I still do think we can push a little bit further down. And what I see right here is this big wick. Okay, so this big wick has something inside. So let's drop it like this, and potentially, yeah, you can take the whole area. This could be a region that we can potentially look for longs. And as you can see, even on the forward, we're probably going to see this better on the 1H. We are changing structure. So this means that the lower low has been created. And as you can see on the hour, lower high, almost lower low, lower high, boom, lower low, pullback, failure to break, and then we break. Okay. So pretty much you have a couple of areas. This is your first area to go long from, and maybe you would like to consider this one as well. Okay, if you drop your range from the low to the high, this one is better because it's below 50%. But also you can drop the range like this, because this is pretty much the range, because this pushed, pulled back, and then we have this big move up. Okay, so in order not to make it too complicated, guys, I do believe we can have a long on NU, which kind of resonates with a long on AU as well if it pulls back. So let's see if we have this pullback and then a potential push into this 50%, which is pretty much this big buy before this big sell-off. So this is where potentially I would like to take a short, and we can also take this little supply as a refinement. Okay, but pretty much this whole area is where I would like to see the price go. Okay, so very simple analysis, massive pump lower, we look for the pullback, and then we take a short, and we potentially drive it further into this level. And from there, I do think this is going to be next week. If you're here, we can then start preparing for longs. And by that time, the DXY should have pulled back into a supply. So we can have some weakness on the DXY, which is going to drive a little bit more bullishness on all the other USD pairs. Okay, so this is NU. Let's see if it's going to develop like this. And NJ as well. We still have a lot of downside on this one. We still have to retest this little level right here, this whole zone, which is a demand. On the daily, we have a pretty choppy pullback right there, and still we definitely have some space to pull back towards retesting the structure right there, and of course the lower structure that is here. On the 4H, we are very nicely bearish, to be honest. Push, pullback, lower high, lower low, lower high, boom, lower low. So where is our lower high? Well, yeah, it's pretty much this one, but we also have a little bit of this right here. So let's drop the range as always, range high to range low. There is 50%, so pretty much this is also pretty valid, guys. Okay, so we have this sort of big area, and if we pull back towards this area, then I'm gonna be looking for shorts, and of course targeting a little bit to the downside. I can see this little guy right there, and this is possibly why the market is reacting from here. We did not really tap into it, but of course it's not really precise. It's an area, and we probably react from this wick because this wick actually retested the zone, and this is when we exploded. So this is where we're reacting from, but this is, according to me, is just a reaction. So what I expect is the market to pull back inside the zone and then to potentially reverse to the downside. There is this level and there is this big air level right there. So let's see, guys. Right, we also have a pretty flat low, which is looking really good to be taken out. So this is my analysis on NJ as well. Looking for shorts, yes, we can take a long, but NU looks much better for a long than this one. This is more choppier, so probably you can take a long on NU. And as this one is pushing higher, NJ is also going to be giving us a pullback, and then potentially we can see if we're going to have a short on both of them. Okay, so let's see how this is going to play out. Very simple, excited to see. All right, let's have a look at UJ. So to be honest, I'm not really sure what to expect on this one right now. Again, we are definitely in a need of a pullback. And this week we had some bearishness, but as you can see, actually we just wicked down and then we closed very bullish, but we also left the wick to the upside. So a very interesting situation right there. But yes, if you have a look at it on the daily, let's just follow what was happening. Let's follow the chain, right? So we have this push up, we have the slowdown, this created a higher high, we pulled back, so this should have been a higher low, okay? Tried to push up, failed, tried to push up, failed, tried to push up, boom, we broke. So this demand right there was broken, right? And then we pretty much right now pull back. Where do we pull back? Into the lower high, which is pretty much this whole zone, okay? So we just broke it down very simply, but oh man, what did I do now? But yeah, it's not that simple because again, this looks like a fake to the downside, and this massive bullish engulfing candle, we can potentially have a little continuation into the highs. And this really depends on the DXY as well. But just because we're too high into the range and just because this pushed to the downside, it didn't tap into anywhere strong so that we can say, all right, we are reversing. Okay, so I am gonna stick to sells right now if we do not really start breaking above. Okay, so this is my daily area right now. We're in a massive pump into the highs, and what we have also is a very nice delivery right there. We have a range, the market manipulated above, and right now it looks like we're breaking. So let's try. Oh man, I thought this is the daily. Okay, so this is the 4 hourly. So let's try to examine this on the hour. There is your liquidity grab right there. There is your reversal. Pretty much this demand has failed. So yeah, this is the extreme level that we can look for shorts. Okay, so very important, guys. Do not, I know some of you actually said I'm just going short on UJ. I'm already running a short on UJ, but it wasn't really bearish. Then we had the bearishness, but right now it's coming back to potentially take you out at break even, or maybe hit your stop loss. Maybe it's gonna manipulate a little bit further before actually reversing down. But we have the same formation right here. If you have a look, range manipulation, it broke. Okay, so we have a range manipulation. Let's see if we're gonna break. This is a very nice pattern that I utilize. So pretty much again, in order to keep it simple, I will be looking to see how the UJ is gonna pull back into this area. If it's gonna hold, and if it holds, then we can definitely expect the downside. Okay, but if it doesn't, then we of course expect upside, and then we have to adapt a little bit because this level is really strong, and if this level gets taken out, then yeah, we are gonna need to adapt a lot, because there is nothing too much to be retested on the left. And if we break above this zone, we're definitely gonna take out this high, okay, which is going to create a hard high, and then it's going to be a completely different story. So let's see. I really hope this level gets respected. We can get some shorts, so let's see. And if this one goes short, then potentially all the JPYs that we also broke are going to give us some nice shorts as well. So that is going to be really nice to see. So come on, UJ, don't disappoint us. Let's see what's going to happen. All right, let's have a look at some GBPs starting from GU. So again, we're having another bearish week and a very nice delivery on this one, because pretty much we had a range. And as you can see, as you have a bearish candle on the weekly or on any time frame, one of the situations that could happen is that you have usually a 50% pullback of that engulfing candle, and then we continue down, which is exactly what happened. This week we took out also this low, which creates a new range, which is from the high to the low. Okay, so we have this to work with right now. Let's drop to the daily to see what's going on. And yeah, pretty much this was our range from this high to this low. We pulled back 50%, we tapped almost into this zone, and then we reversed lower. So this right now creates a new weekly range, again, as I told you, because this is the whole move on the week, but we also have some minor moves on the day, right? Push, pull back, push, pull back, push, pull back, right? So right now what is tricky is that you can say, well, okay, this is my daily level, this is where I want to short from, okay? But and you still have that weekly. So pretty much I do think this is definitely possible. What GU also loves to do is to manipulate above weekly highs and lows. So we have this high, so don't get surprised if the market just wicks above this level, oops, like this, and then starts to reverse, okay? Because we just have one above it. So I think it was daily, yeah, which is also unretested. So on GU to be, wow, this has become a very big area right now. Maybe let's reduce it a little bit, just to maybe like this, okay? So pretty much we have those two levels on GU, and it is pretty bearish, okay? It is traveling towards somewhere right there, but I don't really want to explore because we have some madness right there. If you really want to do it, right? Try to see where the market could react from, but I would much prefer to focus on the now, which is bearish, and really just go with the flow, okay? So we have this big weekly range. We also have a daily range, so potentially shorts from right here. If short doesn't work from here, then we can short it from the top as well right there, which is above 50% on the weekly, which is also very important. As of right now, if you zoom in, we potentially have a little bit of a shift that happened right here. This was a lower high. Why? Because it made a lower low right there. So there is your lower low. So this one is right now broken. And if you drop to the hour, there is your break. What made the break? Well, this bearish candle. Okay, so potentially we can expect longs on Monday on GU, and GU usually moves a lot. We had the same long that some of the community members took from right here. You can see again, like Friday, this is the 5th of November. We kind of make a low, then we start shifting, and then like in the 8th when we open, we manipulate low and we just explode. So we can have like, this is the open, we can once again manipulate lower and explode and come into this area. So this is my expectation on GU. Potential longs taking it into this range, and then potentially looking to start shorting. This is our weekly range, but of course guys, keep in mind this range as well, because this is pretty relevant. And we can also react from a little bit early on. You can also have this level right here. So let's see. Again, the bias is short, but currently we should be going long because we're looking for a pullback towards this 50%. And then if this zone doesn't work, we look for the higher one for further shorts. Okay. And of course, make sure to adapt. Maybe it's going to reverse to the upside. We never know. Then we have GEJ, massive pump higher, currently pulling back and starting to slow down, which is really good. So this is a very nice low to be manipulated right there. So let's see how this is going to look like on the daily. On the daily, we have this level that hasn't been tapped yet. So this is cooking like a really good setup right here, because what we usually have is just before tapping into a very strong supplier demand, we usually consolidate. Then we're going to tap inside and we're going to reverse. So this is a really good pattern to trade as well. Okay. But again, as I told you on GU, for example, we are a little bit bearish right now, but unlike GU, GJ is a little bit bullish. You can see that GU is down. This one is up, right? It's no correlation. this time, and this is mainly because of UJ. Okay, but if UJ starts to crush to the downside and if GU starts getting weaker, this one is also gonna drop. So be careful. This is slightly bit tricky right here. And as you can see, this week we pretty much ranged on GJ, and this is because GU is absolutely weak and UJ is absolutely strong. And when you have this, GJ is gonna range. Okay, and you have to be aware of that correlation, because if you're not, you're gonna end up taking losses on this one. So I have nothing much to break down on this pair. We have this big liquidity gap which created a supply, so we can have a short from here, then to potentially, I do think this low should be taken. Again, you can see how I speak, should be taken, which is absolutely invalid, but this low could be taken or potentially could be taken, so we can manipulate into this very nice demand, and then we can start initiating a pullback. Okay, and the last area that I see is this daily zone. I do think this should be daily. Yep, there is it on the daily. And this is where we can potentially take some shorts. But again, what is the flow of this analysis is that we have a push and a pullback. The market is already into 50%. It's already tapping into a hard time frame long. So if you take a long from here, then this level is not supposed to sell off. We can have this. Okay, so let's see, very tricky situation on GJ. Let me know what you guys think, because I know a lot of people trade on the GJ. So there are definitely some masters of it. But personally, I'm more on the long side, but currently we're short. But if we tap inside this level, then definitely I'm going to start looking for longs. Before that, if we pull back into this, shorts. But if we straight dive into this level, longs. And then of course, this one is also very interesting. But yeah, we first need to pull back here in order to take a short. And yeah, what I want to say is I'm starting to kind of say too many things, is that if we tap first into this level, longs. If we tap first into this level, shorts. And if we tap first into this level, again, shorts. Okay, but I really want to buy from that zone, so let's see how it's gonna play. But the analysis is slightly bit confusing right there. GA did not do much this week. Pushed higher, pulled back. This is a pair that I do not trade. I say this every time because I don't want you to trust me on my analysis on this pair. Yeah, we pretty much formed this zone right there, which is a daily zone, because we have a big sell-off, a couple of 4-hourly candles, and then a sharp move into the highs that also broke a lower high on the left. We pulled back, we pushed up, and we just wicked above the high, which is not really nice. And then we started reversing down. So again, guys, this is a little bit of confusion because this GA is GU plus AU. Both of them are moving down, right? Where is GU? Both of them are moving down. So this one is gonna consolidate. It's a cross, so it's not supposed to move right now. Okay, so give it some time if you're trading GA, and try to possibly switch a little bit to GU, because this is the pair that is active right now, and that is directly correlated to the DXY. So but yes, it looks more long to me than short, so I'm gonna be looking also for this level to see how it gets respected. And yeah, but still the 4-hourly is not really strong to the upside. Yes, we had this push. This was a beautiful long. We pushed higher. Right now we're in a pullback stage. So if this was the long that we took, and this is our range, if this low gets broken, then that's it. So this is my last resort for taking potential longs. So let's see how it comes inside, and if we're gonna have a nice reaction from there. So this is my analysis on GA. And Euro GBP, I pretty much just keep this analysis because I do not really look at this pair. It's just for correlation purposes, but it doesn't even make a nice correlation for me. We tapped inside this level. We still have this range, and as you can see, since we opened on the 8th, nothing. Both EU and GU are flushing, so this one is just chopping around. Okay, and my analysis pretty much still remains the same. I am looking for this level to tap and then to potentially have an upside. If this one breaks, then it's a completely different story. So analysis is still the same on Euro GBP since last week. Okay, as a little recap, I'm looking for a little long on GU in the beginning of the week, then pulling back into premium right there to potentially take a short. GJ is very tricky because it's been chopping around right now, so we can also have a short on it, but we're having a very big demand level that can give us some longs as well. GA is looking a little bit long, but it's not really good. And of course, GJ, GA, and Euro GBP are slightly bit tricky, but GU is the cleanest. So let's possibly focus on it and see how it's gonna play out during the week. So right now the DXY is exploding to the upside, and gold is also doing the same. So I definitely have to explore the fundamental reason for that. But yeah, it does not make a lot of sense, right? But usually gold right now, usually they say it's a hedge against inflation, and as inflation is growing, people are starting to buy gold right now, and as you can see, it's starting to appreciate in value very nicely. So this is of course good to see. But as technical traders, what are we gonna do? Well, in order to trade gold, you also have to be aware of that stuff, right? But currently we are tapping into a very strong level of supply, which is right here. We're just traveling towards it, but we have invalidated the bearish structure. Okay, so we have broken the structure from right here. We have broken also this swing, and the origin of this break is this area right here. Okay, so currently what is gold doing? It's pumping into the highs, and what I would expect as a swing trade, just solely on the daily, is a tap inside right there, a reaction pullback towards this little zone right there, and then possibly a continuation up. Okay, if we look on the 4H, we're pretty much bullish right now, creating some little pushes, little pullbacks. But as we tap inside this area, then potentially I'm gonna start becoming mindful to see how we're gonna react. It's a whole big buy sell-off that hasn't been retested. What you can also do in such occasions is you can drop a range, and you can drop a little line right here at the 50%, which is where usually this one tends to go. So let's see if we're gonna have a tap inside. If we have a tap inside, then we wait for a shift on the lower time frame, then we start taking shorts towards potential demand areas and towards the 50% of the leg, which is gonna be something like this, for example. And then we're gonna see what's gonna happen. Okay, so make sure to do a little bit of a research about why is gold moving up. But pretty much if I think of it, gold hedge against inflation. Inflation is growing, so this is why we appreciate, along with the dollar as well, which usually does not make a lot of sense. Okay, so this is my analysis on gold. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think we're gonna react right there from around 1900, potentially pull back to 18? This is something that I would be curious, or are we just gonna smash the levels and continue going higher with this overall push, pullback, and push phase? Okay, so let's see. I'm curious about gold. And wrapping up the video with some indices. So pretty much this week we do not have anything interesting, and the majority of the indices are climbing. US 30 is having a little consolidation right there on the top. But again, as I tell you, I only swing/position trades those assets. So I am interested for a bigger pullback. Okay, so the only place that I'm gonna buy is this level. So pretty much we start from 35. So I only buy US 30 if we tap at 35. So for me right now, this big move to the upside is not interesting because I'm long from right there. Well, I'm not long, but I'm invested in it. And yeah, currently we had this kind of uptrend a little bit right there. Right now we formed the top. We started having a little bit of a downtrend, which is really good. So for you intraday traders, I can confirm that the trend has changed on the 4H. We have broken below the last demand. We're creating lower highs and lower lows. So pretty much I do feel we're safe to go down, but with indices we never know. And with indices it's much better to always go long rather than short, because the short periods are much smaller than the long ones. Okay, so let's see. I would expect some shorts this week. We have a lot of kind of flat price action to collect right there, and I'm looking forward to tap inside some of these levels right here. So if you guys are looking for shorts, then definitely right now it's a good time to do so. Nasdaq is still pumping into the highs. We also have a little bit of a shift right here, but yeah, is it really strong? Well, we consolidate on top, we very sharply push down, and right now we're in this pullback phase. Okay, so for me, two levels. This is the one. This is the second one. Okay, so let's see. If you're willing to take the risk to short this one, then do so. We have the kind of the evidence of the market starting to push down because we haven't had such bearishness for quite some time. You can see usually we have little slowdowns, but right now we're having some bearishness, and usually it starts with a little bit of a bearishness before we have a drop. Okay, so if you're willing to take the risk, those are the two levels that you can short from. Okay, so this is my view on Nasdaq, but once again, as you know, I'm looking for a deeper pullback. First level is this one, which starts from 1550, and then the second one is from 15.0. So this is Nasdaq, and also S&P continuing to pump into the high. So again, as I said, still waiting for a pullback. This one as well, it's showing some little bearishness. It just came to retest this zone right there, which was kind of the last demand. we had a little bit right there, but yes, let's see if any supply is gonna get respected across all indices. So this is the one on S&P, and if we start having some bearishness and if we break this structure, then definitely I do think we can collect all of that pricing right here. So tap all the way into the 50%, and this is when I'm gonna start investing back. Okay, so I have my cash stacked, ready to get invested. And Bitcoin, it's a hard topic for me right now because I want to stack. I took majority of my profits right there, and I have a lot to reinvest, and I'm keeping this kind of liquidity in order to invest into the indices as well. And I do approach Bitcoin the same, although I was looking to buy right now. So pretty much on the daily, we have a daily leg to the upside that also broke structure. We pulled back very nicely into 50%, and we also retested a 4-hourly region that I was looking at, which is right here. So I was looking to buy right there, but I didn't, because then I second guessed myself and I'm like, okay, cool. So do you want to day trade this one, or you do want to swing / position trade? And my strategy says is that I look for bigger moves. Okay, so for me, Bitcoin will be a buy at 55 at least. All right, so I might put a little bit, but pretty much, guys, again, right now, here is your intraday setup. So we tapped into the area that I was expecting to tap. We had a break of structure, and right now my zone of interest is this one. So potentially, man, what did I do? I triggered my holy grail right there. You just saw it. I'm joking. This is what I would expect to happen. All right, this is kind of my setup for an intraday, and I do think to put some money in from this level right there, but it's gonna be less, because usually I would like to take it a little bit lower into some of those levels and then put a bigger portion in order to buy it lower. Okay, but this is Bitcoin right now, according to me, sitting at a very strong demand. Possibly we could take the risk to buy from this demand, and if this demand fails, then we have some downside and some pretty flat price action right there to collect. Also, Ethereum keeps very nicely climbing into the highs. New all-time high was created, which is absolutely phenomenal. And of course, we were creating this little kind of uptrend, which is a very nice uptrend. And right now also we have the same. We have this level that we tapped inside very recently. We tapped inside it, we reacted from it, but what kind of makes me a little bit scared is that we pushed strongly right here. We pulled back. It looks like a lower high, but right now what are we doing is we're stuck in this. I know the crypto guys are gonna start dropping triangles or something like, I don't know how to draw it. Yeah, but something like that. So pretty much we're looking for a breakout on this right now. But according to me, with my macro analysis, this is not a level to buy from. Okay, so I am looking for a further pullback on Ethereum, at least around 38. Okay, so this is what I look for, so I'm gonna be careful. And of course, guys, beware of a potential sell-off on the indices. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for. So stay cash, stay liquid, and be ready to invest. All right. And guys, this is how I'm gonna wrap up this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. I focus more on analysis this week. We are already in the middle of November, so I really hope you are ticking your goals with trading and other areas of your life. I definitely do, but trading has been a little bit slow, so I definitely plan to take it to the next level. And yes, make sure to leave a comment if you enjoyed it, hit the like button, subscribe, and I cannot wait to see you on Tuesday for my video. And I also have something prepared for you, which I'm gonna release very soon, so make sure to stay tuned for that. And have an amazing weekend if you're watching this on the weekend, and if it's already during the week, make sure to crush it and follow your plan.